All right, so let's start with super basic one, Jared. When did you guys jump into business? I know the storyline, but just give me like you've been around for a while now,
Yeah. We started in 2010. So yeah,
and
yeah,
you came on with Swept in 2015. So you've been with us for more than half of your of the life of the business, right?
yeah. That's right. Yeah, I think we were Swep's eighth customer. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
2015. That's
Yeah, we
amazing.
we we saw the vision. We saw the vision from the beginning. So
Yeah, I remember the old video. I think you were in there as well.
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how many staff do you have on now? How many cleaners do you have now?
So we have a roughly 150 team members. Yeah. So a lot of those are subcontractors. It's a big mix of employees and subcontractors. But yeah, there's about 150 of us now.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit, like pandemic obviously had a huge impact on pretty much everyone, and some, the wheels came off in a lot of
Yeah.
places. Since then, how have you guys kind of gotten back on track and or grown? I know you recently added a new office in Edmonton, I think, right? So
Right.
congrats there. But give me just a lay of the land in terms of growth and rebound from COVID.
Yeah. So like during COVID, we had a tiny dip, but it wasn't a big dip, that's for sure. But once things settled down, we had some pretty dramatic growth. I think people just took janitorial more serious. They were kind of done with the mom and pops because, although they may be cheaper, but the professionalism and the accountability, using the proper software and just didn't exist with the mom and pops.
Mm.
And making sure the health and safety and proper disinfecting and procedures and all of that. So yeah, we've had a good growth. I think this last year, I think we're at about 16% year over year. And really, I mean, I think that is due to the industry saying, hey, like we need something more professional now, and we've always been that way. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that you guys didn't have a dip during COVID, and just sidetrack here for a second. We found with a lot of our clients, not every, I mean, everyone runs their business differently, but we found that a number of our clients, and I want to give a percentage because invariably I'll be way off, and someone will call
Right.
me out on it after the fact. But what we
Yeah.
found was that a large number of our clients didn't see the dip because they were already equipped to work remotely. Like they didn't
Yes.
have to have a team come to site and figure out their plans and their schedule and then go out and do that stuff. It
Right.
was it was all already automated
Yes.
and kind of a mobile first approach.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you fall into that category almost explicitly. That's awesome.
Totally.
So you mentioned that, kind of that additional level of professionalism is kind of an expectation from the market. Anything else that you would attribute to that growth, whether it's, just the evolution of you as a business owner and what I've gotten us from here to here, what's the next to get here? Any other things that would contribute into that growth?
I mean, certainly, there's multiple things. Investing for the future. Like we're always, you know, putting management, having infrastructure in place ahead before we need it.
Yeah.
We're always trying to stay one step ahead. Just to really give that incredible customer service and prepare for growth. So we're never trying to catch up, right? So we're always a little ahead that way. And then just having systems in place, right? Like making sure that everything has a system, and a big part of that is the software that we use. And Swept was the first software that we implemented in 2015 and still use today. And it's played a significant role. Like I honestly don't know where we'd be without it. Our teams are going out every night doing inspections. So, I haven't been on site anywhere in years. And that's because we have something that supports operation managers to go out and do inspections, check the quality of the work, report back. I check every inspection that comes in, scan through them, order supplies where it used to be where, someone would text, someone would email, someone would call for supplies. And it was just kind of a bit of a mess. But now we have one place, one hub where all supplies are ordered through. So that's been phenomenal with Swept. and then making sure that they're checking in and checking out as well.
Yeah.
So just, with the geo fence that SWEP has implemented, and it's just, yeah. So having those systems in place is the only way we could have grown. And we live in, I think, the best time in history to do business, because of technology and what it's allowed us to do. And there's no way we could have grown like this, 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Wow.
There's just no way. Um,
That- That's
yeah,
super cool. So let me ask you this, because you hit on something that you mentioned about having systems in place and being able to kind of, use those as catapults to grow into the next tier without having the friction of, okay, we've got to look behind now to fix something.
yeah,
Um, whether it was explicit when we first connected with you, 7 years ago, or somewhere along the trajectory, it's been forgotten about. I mean, our goal is to empower the cleaner, because in doing that, all sorts of benefits come from it, right?
yeah,
You've got a committed and attached team. You've got, hopefully less attrition with that group of
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Obviously, if they're committed to their work and doing better work for the customer, that means, less loss of that. And
yeah.
the fewer clients you lose makes it a whole lot easier to go win new ones, right? Because if
That's
you can
right.
prove your retention is 90%, you solve a big problem for most customers, which is
Yeah,
consistency. Like, and,
totally.
and I'll ask that as a question, because I ask it with everyone as a net new client coming in. What's the number one reason that you have an opportunity to bid on work?
Uh, I mean, truthfully, I think it's our reputation,
Okay.
and delivering, just a phenomenal service all the time. And you can see it in our Google reviews, or,
Yeah.
you can see it just the story we tell on our website. I think people see that we are extremely authentic. You can really trust what we're going to do and deliver on. At the same time, we're incredibly professional.
Mhm.
So we kind of bridge the gap between the mom and pops and the big
The big
companies.
ones.
Yeah, because you're gonna get, us, like it's very intimate experience. So the big guys can't give that flexibility like we do,
Mhm.
but you're gonna get the professionalism that they also provide. So it's just been a great niche for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The piece that I was getting at, that I find with a lot of clients, and I think what you just hit on is the reason they will call you, but the
hmm,
reason they want to pick up the phone to begin with is generally because for most of your customers, not current ones, of course, not
yeah,
anymore, but in the industry, I think the biggest reason that your end consumer decides to pick up the phone and call someone is because another partner that they're working with, the
right.
consistency has
Yes,
just gone through the floor, right? So,
totally. Yes,
um,
yes, very
so
true.
as we've tried to empower cleaners, and a number of things that we've done, and you listed about a bunch of things that the tool has kind of helped you guys with. Can you maybe just give me a look into your team? Like, what is their response to using technology now? How has that enabled them to, be more efficient, to operate with less supervision from managers having to go on site all the time? Like, what are some of the impacts for the cleaners?
Yeah. I think, the cleaners, for us, the what's where they touch swept the most would be receiving inspections and feedback,
Hmm.
but also ordering supplies, and then, checking in, checking out. Um, I would say those three components, are where they're most involved. And I mean, overall, they yeah, I think that, I'm trying to think where the value is for them, more so than like the value. There's tons of value for us in the management. So this is a
Right.
good question to think where, I think for them it's having kind of one spot also to get, like, alarm codes, any instructions. We have our job specifications in each account.
Yeah.
So having everything available just to kind of in one spot, I think gives them peace of mind, and simplicity, because, like, we're all so busy, right? And we, like, you check email for this, check text for this,
Yeah.
but now we just got one spot. It brings it all together, simplifies it. I think that's
That's awesome.
where it makes their life significantly better. Yeah,
That's cool. And
yeah,
so, from from the management side then, because the cleaners, as you allude, it's like everything. If there's nothing in it for the cleaner, they're not going to want to use it. They're humans
Right.
just like you and I are, right? So
Yes.
unless there's
Yes.
some benefit to me using an app, I'm really not going to go there unless it has something of value.
Totally.
So I appreciate the fact that they're getting something from it that enables them to not have to pick up a phone call and say, listen, I
Yeah.
forget where the certain stuff is. Where am I
Right.
supposed to get it? It's documented. There's a
Yes.
process,
That's
like you
right.
said.
Yes.
On the management side of things, how has using the tool kind of consolidated your group? Like, where do you guys not where are you guys finding cohesion as a team, and or where you found an efficiency in terms of managing the staff? And I kind of a wide open question to just kind
Yeah.
of things there, but anything that you could say that it's done to help you as the management team run better?
Oh, totally. Yeah. So we meet once a week as a management team, and each manager presents their previous week and talks about what they're doing in the week to come. But a big component of what they present is their inspections that they do. And so, they're doing, we have metrics. So they all have goals of how many inspections they need to do every week, every month, and we're always evaluating that. So it's really been like a very integral part of our business and how we uh, track our results and what we're doing internally. So they'll present their inspections. They'll go through them, talk about them, and it allows them to create a more like tangible way to give feedback. And we're very strategic on like at a certain level. If it's just some minor things, then we're quite nice about it. But if it's pretty serious, if we're finding some serious mistakes in the cleaning, we're very careful on how we approach the team and give that feedback. Like, we don't just send it off to them and say, deal with it. We call them first, talk to the team, say we have this inspection coming in, but it gives that like data that, instead of just kind of it makes it a little bit more subjective. It's really helped tangibilize what we're doing, and it allows us to catch the mistakes before the customer does.
Right.
Which is the greatest value of all. So the level of quality of service is the customer gets that, and they don't even know. A lot of our customers, we tell them we're doing this, but they forget about it. So they often don't even know that we're doing
Yeah.
these inspections, but it's
Yeah.
behind the scenes and giving that true value. So
Yeah, and it's funny because with most clients in the industry, and there's so many industries that are like it, if you never hear from the customer, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's the
that's right.
assumption, right? If they don't, and
Totally.
from their perspective, if they never see you guys or no one complains about the cleaning, you guys are doing a great job, right?
That's right. Yes.
But the danger in our kind of world is if you don't hear from the customer, you make the assumption everything's going great.
Yeah.
But if a cleaner has forgotten to, there's one element when you did your walkthrough 2 years ago that you promised the customer, listen, I know every other cleaning company has failed to deliver. They forget this. My team won't. It's a pretty hard shake to come back and realize that your team did start forgetting this, right?
Totally.
So that ability for, the customer to get that stuff proactively from you, and or, hey, listen, we know we dropped the ball last night. I'm telling you about it today, as opposed to them calling you.
Yeah.
The worst one is when they don't call, right? So
yes.
that's awesome. So what's the next couple of years for you guys? Like, where are you planning to be? I mean, you're Calgary, Edmonton. Where are you in other spots as well now?
Yeah, we are. We're actually in Ontario and a little bit in BC as well. It's been slow, but and very careful that how we're growing out there. But we've had some opportunities to take on some business in both other provinces, and we're out there. We're not pushing it. We're not marketing it or anything, but it's working. So next couple of years, I see us continuing to expand nationally. We're looking at potentially an acquisition at some point,
Nice.
or two. Yeah. So we have some pretty big growth plans. The more systems we have in place now is that's the only way we're going to be able to manage that is through building those systems.
That's awesome. So let me make sure that as part of your strategic vision, that if and when you acquire or set up a new organization somewhere in the interior of BC, somewhere maybe like oh, Revelstoke area would be nice if you had something. I'll
Yeah.
gladly come do some training if there's like a middle of winter ski
Sounds good, man. Yeah.
combo there.
I
I'll
see where
meet
you're
you
going
there.
with this.
All right, that's awesome. And Jared, yeah. So, what kind of where do you anticipate? Like, I know you're kind of hedging bets, putting different pieces in play. 5-year plan. Are you going to go from 150 cleaners to 5? What do you think in terms of magnitude you're going to be at in the next 5 years?
Yeah, no, so our well, I can tell you that our 3-year projection is that we're going to be at doing 12 million in annual revenue. So 3 to 4 years. That was, we started that at 5 years ago, but time has passed. So
Mm,
but we're looking at about 12 million, and that will likely be through acquisition. That's a 300% growth because we're at about 4 million right now.
that's amazing.
So yeah, that's the plan. And I mean, it's amazing until it gets done. It sounds good. I could say anything to you, but
Yeah,
we have some pretty aggressive goals, and we have some very good strategies in place that we believe we can achieve that. So
that's awesome. Well, Jared, listen, I appreciate you taking some time. It's been awesome to recap and regroup with you. Again, like you said, you've been with us for 7 years now.
yeah,
You guys have continued to grow from the mom and pop shop to now, 4 provinces. Like that's amazing. Congrats to you, and thanks again for your time.
thanks, Toby. Appreciate it too, man.